The video I'm doing mostly to combat the fact that I have a computer that doesn't want me to use the mouse. So in the upper left there you see a device. It's called an expandable rubber stopper thing. It's basically a cork that you can tighten up. They do exist for doing wine bottles and champagne and that sort of thing. But I forgot what they were called, and I'll have a link below in the description so you can look them up. But anyway, some of them are made with stainless steel. Some of them are made with, rubber plugs that are ribbed. But the basic idea is that it's a cork with basically a washer and a bolt or screw sticking up through it. And on the other side is another washer, usually a little bit bigger. The expansion plug top washer, it's called here. And a hex nut or a wing nut, or even a little lever. Now this makes it to where you can stick it in the end of a metal tube or pipe or whatever and plug the thing. And it's used for testing pressure and all sorts of things. And it's usually somewhat limited. Now there's a metal version of this as well that allows you to do the same thing with metal objects and maybe do even more useful things. But the main thing is the expansion plug top washer, the exterior washer, could be the diameter of the outside of whatever pipe you're plugging, and the inside pipe diameter could match the stem or the washer that's inside, to where it makes it nearly a perfect metal-to-metal seal inside, except for the rubber that's being used to press it up and make it hold. That's the kind that's used with also another adaptation where it'll have a hole through it instead of that flat plate at the bottom. And that little crank on the top, that little camera lever, a lot like what we use on bicycles to tighten them down, to tighten the wheels down. Sometimes they can be hollow. And they use them for a tap for fluids, a real simple way to make a really low pressure water tap or fuel or sampling container. This is used also for the tap you use for sampling water supplies or flow throughs on industrial equipment. Usually pretty expensive sometimes. But you may have noticed that it's literally just two metal discs and basically a screw attached to one of them, and the other one has a nut or something else on the other side to tighten it up, and it's rubber between, and it just squeezes it down top to bottom and it fills in the space tighter. That's the kind I was looking for, and they make one with a wing nut. I mean, it's real simple. And you can get them all sorts of diameters, and they're made for the standard diameters for pipes. But as you may have heard if you watched one of my videos, that standard tends to be, well, they aren't really standards. They just make them to whatever. So it might be, have a large range of expansion pressure levels or diameters. And that's another kind there. And you notice the size of the nut on that one, because that's not a joke. That one actually is a big washer with a welded-on bolt. You could also take a washer that's a little bit smaller than the diameter for the threads and put it in and make one of these. I mean, it's just two washers and basically a nut and bolt kind of design. And that's really all there is to it, honestly. But this one, it has a plastic knob. A lot of them do. They're used for plugging holes at the bottom of a swimming pool, that sort of thing. They even have a gasket between the little flathead screw. Some of them don't have a flathead screw. They have a little nubbin on it to just keep it from coming out. And they're used to seal up, things for winterizing things. Closing off the pipes so that after you've drained them, it won't do anything. So that would mean that if you had just two different diameters of pipe and one pipe fit in the other, and the plug you got is actually named after that pipe, the other one on the left there. So the one on the left could be, let's say, a 3/4 inch pipe, which actually isn't 3/4 inch, but it does have the outer diameter consistent. If you call it 3/4, it's actually 1 inch almost exactly. And when you get these the bung plugs, they are actually based on chambering within pipes of specific diameters, so you can buy them based on that. And they're usually Schedule 40 or standard, but again, they can expand and contract. And that one there is using a hex nut on one end, and it has basically a round knob on the other that's keyed into the washer by being a square or some other shape, so it'll hold on. Now, this means that in a room you could have just two pieces of metal pipe that just happen to be the exact diameter to fit within each other, and one of them just happens to be a specific diameter internally for a specific purpose you've come up with. And the only thing you would need to make sure that you could have it come to a dead stop at the end on that stopper and run into this protrusion that you could reshape is literally just buying that plug, making it to where it's got wing nuts or a little toggle on it, and it would literally just be, truly, seriously, just some random plumbing hardware in the room, and this would create a very good seal in case of pressure changes and such. So anyway, I just thought that was kind of interesting when I looked that up, and yeah, this can be DIY'd pretty easily. I've seen versions of this where people did the washer trick for sealing up all sorts of things. And instead of using that, they used metal. In some cases, they used a random roofing nail and a cork. But, you know, whatever. But I just thought that one is pretty cool. I mean, it wouldn't even be something anybody would pay any attention to, and it would look fairly boring, but it doesn't have a protrusion at the bottom. And that one, well, again, you can make that. And that one's almost perfect. It just needs to have another knob on the end, which would be not very difficult to do. And again, yeah, I just kind of thought that was interesting when I saw it. You know, just because. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that.